Hi, this afternoon I'm going to show you how to do a powder splash shot. What in the heck is a powder splash shot? Well, you've seen splash shots with water probably, frozen action stuff, but you can do the same thing with powder. And you have to start with powder. There has to be something that's light and can kind of float in the air. Let me show you what I've got. Here's some foot powder. I went to the store. I was looking for baby powder, and they didn't have any. I just went to the dollar store, spent $1 on this. This is fine. It works. It's light white powder. Now you can shoot with white, but I wanted to add color to it. So I went to the local craft store, and actually I was looking for powdered tempera paint, but they didn't have it. And I found they had this kind of product in several colors. And this turns out to be kind of, this says Aztec Gold. So it's maybe wasn't perfect. I kind of was looking for a flesh color ultimately. So after adding regular white powder and this Aztec Gold, and I mixed it together, I have a very light, easy to apply powder. Here's the set that I'm going to use to make this powder shot. Let's talk about how I lit it. Let's start with the background light. That's this one right here. And I've got a snoot on it, and I've got several colored gels. I'm just trying to get some kind of a color. I was basically playing. I've got a blue gel. I have a yellow gel. Well, obviously that's going to give me kind of a green color. And to tone it down, I added a neutral density gray filter, and I just wrap it around my light. It looks a little crude, but it works great. And let's see what happens when I turn it on. Okay, so I've turned it on, and really all it's doing is giving me a round light on my background. The background is a kind of a brown craft paper. It's about a 24 by 30 inch piece of paper. I just have it hanging from a stand in the back. The second light I'm going to add to the shot is my top light. I've got a 7-inch reflector and a 10% grid added to it right here. And it shoots straight down onto my black glass surface. It's going to, I want to make sure you know I've got it set at 128th power, so I really got it low. I'm trying to freeze the action. I also have a speed light right behind the set, and it's shooting forward so that it sort of backlights the powder that will be hitting this surface. Let's turn the speed light on. I've got it set at 1/64th power. So these are the 3 lights that are necessary to really freeze the action. I have one more light down here. Let me come around here and show you this. I've got a speed light down here in front of the set, and it's angled toward a white card, and I used that when I was trying to put a little bit of gradient on my mirror. The compact in the shot that I am going to show you, the finished shot, has a little bit of gradient in the mirror, and that's what this is doing. Now this is also going to give me just a tiny little bit of fill when I make my powder shot. Even though we're going to put powder all over the place, I really want to start out as clean as possible. So I always run a little can of dust off. Try to make sure I get as many pieces of dust out of there as I can before I start. Alright, so my camera back here is a 70 to 200 millimeter zoom, and I have focused on this compact sitting right here. So I'm ready to shoot. So now that we have the compact in focus and in position. I'm going to lift it up and I'm going to put some powder right where so you don't want to go too much, right? Just enough to make a little bit of a splash. The more powder you put down, the larger the explosion. And what I want to get for this shot isn't just an area covered with powder. I want to get the streaks and the kind of the blast effect. So here is, I know where I'm going to drop my compact. You're going to hold it in your hand. Now really you need two people. You need a helper to do the compact, and you need to be on the camera to fire the exposure. So I don't have a cord that is working on my camera. My manual cable release just doesn't want to work on this Nikon. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to position it. Also, the higher you put the compact and drop it, the more force you're going to get to the powder. So I don't want to do that. I want to have a relatively small, controlled little blast. So if I was shooting, I'd be back at the exposure, the trigger of the camera, and I usually count it down to my helper, and they drop it, and that's how you get a perfect little explosion, just exactly in focus. And of course you have to do it probably several times to get your timing and action right. So what gives? The shot that you saw is got the compact open and not closed like you just saw us here with the little explosion. Well, you can't really drop it straight down with the mirror open. It just got kind of messy. So I made two shots. I shot the mirror open on a perfectly clean black glass surface. I used my gradation where I showed you I lit the front and I got the mirror to have a nice little gradation. And then I actually put that in Photoshop in a second layer. So I have my perfect little explosion of powder, and I used my second layer of the perfect mirror shot, and that's how you put together a little compact face powder splash.